BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed ahoy hoy. Welcome to episode 594 of BRB UK. We're racking those bad boys up. Only 6 to go to 600. I am Dan. I'm one of your hosts. Hello, good evening, good day, good afternoon, good morning, or good whatever time of day it is where you are right now and wherever you are right now, be it sat on a bench, be it sat on the bed, be it contemplating life, be it curling out a massive Cleveland steamer.
Whoa.
Thanks to our high-fiber diet.
That went places I didn't want it to go.
I'm just being realistic. We all know. We've all listened to podcasts on the toilet.
I don't think that means what you think it means.
Does.
It's an act, not just doing it.
Let's find out.
No.
Dan, no, don't Google it, Dan.
Every day is a school day. Welcome to BRB UK, episode 194. Dan! I have just had my mind blown. Thanks,
Your
Coleman.
freakophilic podcast for all things poop.
There we go. Right, Coleman, hello.
Wow.
We broke the internet.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I think you broke the internet.
I
Don't
did break
Google it.
the
You've
internet.
got a wife.
I mean, you could do that while listening to a podcast.
Preferably
Why
not.
not? Tim,
No, thanks.
opinions? Do you have
Let us
any?
know in the comments if you are.
No. Don't.
No, please do.
Really. No.
Actually, in the comments, what is the oddest thing you've ever done while listening to BRB UK? I just want to know.
Okay.
All right, Tim, oddest thing you've ever done while listening to BRB UK?
I mean, it's not that odd, but I think just playing a video game while listening to a podcast, like that's
praise
not that
cat.
odd. I don't think there's anything that odd I've done. Like, I just generally work when I'm listening to podcasts. There's not much else I do while listening to podcasts.
Yeah, fair enough. Jolly good. Excellent. Go on, man. Hello.
Hello.
There was some news this week. It was with all guests that I'm very excited by the upcoming release of Destiny 2, The Final Shape, as is many other people. I've spent
I'm
not
glad
an
you said that
inconsiderable
after release. But anyway.
I know. I've spent not an inconsiderable amount of time getting ready for the very exciting, getting myself prepped, thinking, oh, great, it's Tuesday, it's nearly here. However, it seems that there might have been a little bit of a leak, courtesy of Sony, who are so excited by their purchase of Bungie that they thought they'd accidentally...
Investment, some would say.
Yeah, investments, I might say. That they accidentally slightly released the whole of the new expansion 6 days early on PlayStation Cloud. And there are spoilers everywhere on the internet. So basically, it's me just saying a long-winded way. If you are looking forward to any of the surprises in Destiny 2 Final Shape, like me, stay well clear of the internet for the next week, because spoilers are abound. They've shut it down. The servers now. They've shut it down. They've shut the servers
Shut it down.
Shut it down, so you can no longer get a sneak peek. You can no longer get a sneak peek of the Final Shape. But yeah, it seems like someone done messed up, which is a bit of a shame, because Bungie have been playing a bit of a blinder, I think, with a lot of the build up from kind of a media and hype point of view for Final Shape. So it's just a shame to see that really take the wind out of their sails. Bit of a shame.
Yeah, I thought so. I'm massively looking forward to the Destiny Final Shape too.
Thanks, Coleman, for your
I
heartfelt
love it.
feelings on this.
Love it.
So you
Love
didn't
it.
want to know it was a triangle?
There has been a triangle. We've known there are triangles involved for quite some time.
Dodecahedron.
Yes.
It's
yeah. I mean, it's all because Sony's got a bit of form for this, because didn't they mess up with an Elden Ring DLC in a not too unfamiliar way? I want to say. I'm going to ask the third.
I mean, there's only one
don't
Elden
know.
Ring DLC and it's not out yet. So,
Yeah.
and I haven't heard
Nice.
any details of it. So,
Yep.
other than what
Live
they've
Googling,
released.
guys. We're live Googling.
Live.
It's what everyone loves from a podcast. Live
Googling.
Googling.
At least it's better than his
From old men.
previous internet search.
Yeah, this is true. I best intro ever. I will not have you besmirch my intro skills.
I'll just play with the soundboard while we wait for you.
Excellent. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. Tim's getting bored. I can tell he's getting antsy, so I'll just shut up. It's fine.
But I had
that's
one to
Tim.
play.
There's going to be a lot of Destiny 2 speak next week, so strap in, mate. That's what I'm gonna say.
Strap
I'm
on.
not here next week. Oh, what a shame.
Oh no.
I have to confess
All of a
something.
sudden.
I'm not actually a doctor.
True.
I just really, really like sticking my fingers up people's bottoms.
Dan, I can't believe you said that. Really real.
Yeah. Thanks,
And
Colin.
that I
This is
have it
why- This is
recorded.
why AI is probably not a great thing.
AI will replace us all.
I mean, I think I'm
Tell
not
that to
quite
Neil
sure that's what they
Druckmann.
meant by keeping a human in the loop with AI. But yeah, so chaps, anyway, that's been what I've been up to, kind of getting all excited
Okay.
about Destiny 2.
Just sitting there patiently waiting for Destiny 2 updates, yeah.
Yeah,
Putting
indeed.
fingers up bottoms.
Yes.
The weirdest thing you've ever done listening to a podcast.
Not that.
There we are. Thank you, madam. Off you go. Don't forget
Anyway.
your prescription on the way out.
Anyway, what have you chaps been doing this week?
We have been playing a open beta for Warhammer 40k Speed Freaks.
What the heck is this? Is this a kart racer again?
Kind
No,
of.
although I kind of wish it was.
Is it
Yeah.
High-Orktane racing? Thank you.
Yes, that's
Pretty good. Pretty
literally
good.
the pun that they have in the trailer, I think, Dan. But yes,
Oh,
they
is it?
definitely use that
Is it?
somewhere.
Well, it just shows that they're in good company, as far as I can work out.
I was going to let you have a rim shot for that, but
You get nothing.
That's going back to the intro of the podcast. We don't want that. Different
Shame.
kind.
yeah. So
the
yesterday,
nervous laughter I'm getting out of Coleman is glorious.
so before we do the show, I like to get a sense of what we're talking about because that way I can, put together the show's agenda, get footage, all that kind of stuff. And I asked what we were playing, and Tim went, "Oh, I've been playing Warhammer. I'm getting ready to play Warhammer 40k Speed Freaks." And I went, "Oh, what is that?" Looked it up because there's been a fair bit of Warhammer going on in my household lately. And looked interesting enough. It's an open
Is that a
beta,
euphemism?
and I thought the man called Rick has been playing a Warhammer game, and he's been painting miniatures. So there's been a lot of it here, and some audio drama of it going on as well. So there's been a lot. I thought I'd get involved somehow, and this looked like the least Warhammery thing to be getting involved in. So I was quite all for it. This is kind of like it's an open multiplayer, team multiplayer kart shooter, I guess is the right term. 2 teams, and there's only one mode available for this one. I think it's called Convoy, Killer Convoy,
Yeah.
something along those lines. And you've got
Or
2
Kill
teams.
Convoy, possibly. But yeah.
Kill Convoy, that sounds right. 2 teams in an open map, and you drive around, you pick up a bomb, and kind of like a capture the flag type mode. So you go around, you pick up a bomb, and then you have to take it to the enemy's stomper, which are these gigantic mech robot things stamping around.
Walking tank
and-
type things.
How did
Yeah.
they come up with that name? That's incredible.
I'm assuming it might be part of Warhammer, because these things tend to be.
Yes.
But the best thing about this, because it's not my type of game, and it is a free to play game, so I'm sure there'll be like the season pass and the grinding and lots and lots of grinding to unlock things, and I'm sure there'll be costumes to buy and things, but it's not my type of thing. But I did have fun playing it for a little bit.
I mean, it almost looks like it's got a kind of a slightly higher speed World of Tanks kind of vibe to it, with objective modes and stuff like that.
Guess so, yeah. I was I could compare it to a million things. I was about to.
I mean, you compare it to many
reminds
things.
It reminds me of Onrush. No, it doesn't. But it reminds me of a lot of open shooty games.
Open shooty games.
Yes, but the highlight
Thank
of
you.
this is playing with orcs, because orcs just shout nonsense and kind of slightly cockney-ish things at each other.
Well, currently it's all orcs, so it's orcs on
All
orcs
orcs.
violence, basically. Hence the fact they've
Right.
both got stompers on both teams
on
in the
orc
kill convoy mode as well, basically.
I have a
But-
question.
Yes,
Why are orcs always Cockney?
just a done thing. I don't know why it started somewhere and
Or
it continued.
Cockney, if you will.
Cockney.
Ah,
Anyway,
Um,
that just came to me just
I'm-
now.
I mean,
Cockney
a lot of
cocks.
fantasy seems based around English,
Cockneys.
basically, like very old English, medieval type stuff. I'm reckoning they just went, right, what's the most hideous voice on an English person?
Hello, mate.
Well, Scouse is a bit, that doesn't really translate very well overseas. Cockney, let's go for that. Let's make
Fair
them all sound
enough.
like Danny Dyer.
The wheel. Not the wheel. That's Michael McIntyre. The whoa. That's what I mean. There we go. Danny Dyer, God bless him. He's related to royalty, you know. He doesn't like to bang on about it.
We've been asked, Pensive Game says, is it a beta or do you need, is it a beta that you need to have a pre-order of the game? No, it's an open beta. Just go play it. I tried it out on Steam Deck, which I'm assuming Tim's doing the same.
Yes.
Not the best frame rate, downgrades it a fair bit to play, but then I jumped on the desktop and I was like, ooh, actually, that's much nicer. I'll do it this way. Doesn't sound like it's going to take off.
Yeah, it really kind of stretches things. It eats battery fairly quickly as well. So I got limited play sessions when I was able to play as well. But yeah, like I don't know about you, Coleman. I had fun playing it, but because it's an online competitive mode, and you said it was free to play, is that confirmed? Because I haven't seen that confirmed anywhere. The beta's free to play at the moment, but I don't know if it's definitely going to be a free to play game at the end of it.
Let me Google that. That's what I'm here for.
Have a look.
I googled beforehand. I could not find that information.
Yeah, I wasn't
But
sure.
I was
also
assuming from the description and the play and
right, fine. Because I was also trying to find out like what other modes are going to be available in the final game. Because I think if I was paying for this game, I would dip in and out of this mode. But I would want there to be some substantial other modes that I was playing more often than this mode, basically. And I'd really like it if there was this kind of straight up races in a almost kart racer style type thing. And I'd actually think I'd prefer something along those lines to this mode overall. I also found some of the things a bit hard to pass exactly what was going on. Like I know you had to race to the bomb and get the bomb to the stomper. But I never found the bomb. Like I got in vehicular combat and generally kind of, did stuff, but I never actually found the bomb itself, basically.
I got the bomb a bunch of times. I
Okay.
could never get it to the stomper, but I'd sort of get it like a couple of feet from the stomper, and then I would get killed, and then one of my teammates would pick it up and get the rest of the way.
Right,
Teamwork.
yeah.
It makes the dream work.
Yeah. But then I think that's partly because I was favouring the tank, which was a bit slower. And I'd sit back from the battlefield because its main weapon is a cannon which you shoot out, and it has an orc riding a massive missile that you can then launch into other enemies from a distance, which was the most fun I had in the different vehicles. A lot of the other vehicles are a little bit faster, and as you get a little bit, I'm not sure what the qualifier was, but as you get a little bit further into the game, there's 4 vehicles, I think, to start with, and then it opens up another 2. And I found the speedy one of the other 2 that you opened up like a little bit difficult. I couldn't understand what those weapons were doing because each one's got a slightly different set of weapons and like skills. Like some of them have got a boost, and other ones have got other things going on. And then the 2 that you unlock later on is a speed version, and then a kind of larger tank as well. And that larger tank was even slower and didn't have the fun missile thing, so I used that a bit less. And then the speedy one that you unlocked, I didn't like as much as the other speed ones that you had unlocked initially. They seemed a bit harder to control and get use of.
So what we've learned is Tim likes explosions, is what it comes down to. If there's not a lot of explosions, Tim gets a bit bored. That's not a bad thing.
But
well, I went for the speed ones because I found like, so you had the boost, you had also like a smoke kind of trail that you can blast. So when you grab the bomb, then it's good to let off. Yeah, you can let off smoke. The one thing I found really cool for it, so if someone was tailing me and trying to shoot me, I'd let off the smoke and then do a donut and then drive backwards and start shooting through the smoke at them. So they thought they were firing at the back of me, and then I was just doing it. Yeah, it was like a Fast and Furious maneuver. It was pretty cool.
So just to loop back on what this actually is, this game, I've looked up a press release. Are you impressed with me? I've looked up a press release.
Yeah,
it
I'm
is
very
definitely
impressed
going
with
to
you,
be
Dan.
a free-to-play
Okay,
title. And I'm afraid that actually the open beta has just concluded. It concluded at 6
Boo.
in the evening on May the 30th, which is like now.
That's now.
Yeah.
At
Yeah,
the time
and a
of
bit.
Just
recording.
now.
So sadly not. It's coming in summer 2024, though, if it sounds
Yeah.
like something that would tickle your fancy.
And
Yeah, they did say it was coming soon.
Yeah, I did like my time with it, but it didn't, and it's not necessarily rated yet or verified yet for the Steam Deck, but it really pushed it. Also, I don't know about you, I found a few technical problems. Most of them didn't hamper gameplay too much. Like I was getting like audio looping and stuff like that, and then you said about the orcs, and it was quite funny, but I had like one line that was looping the whole time I was playing, basically.
Love that.
So that wasn't too fun. Or, for one round. And then also I found when my battery was running low, particularly, it really started chugging away and really kind of struggled when that was the case, basically.
That's
so-
the Steam Deck.
Yeah, I think that's more of a Steam Deck thing, but it's good to know that you said it performed a little bit better on desktop. As I said,
Much better.
I enjoyed my time with it, and I'll be keen to see what other modes they add to it, because I think there's other modes I might enjoy more than the mode that I tried, but I quite liked it. Also, just to say that it was part of an overall thing they were doing. It's an annual thing called Warhammer Skulls, where there's a big festival of stuff going on. It's been not just on Steam, but also on consoles as well. So there's various different things to look out for. Unless you are listening to the live show, it's probably a bit too late to pick up Gladius, which was the game they were giving away as a 100% discount this week. But if you're listening to the live show, you can still.
Where's
pick that
my
up.
Grabtar's hammer sound clip? God damn it, Coleman.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, I was looking for it.
it is playable on Steam
My
Deck. I had a very
Grabtar's
quick go on
hammer.
that. It seemed
you,
like the
Rick.
text is a bit small on Steam Deck, but for free, I'm not going to complain. And it seems like a game I might enjoy. And also, just note Talisman Digital Edition, which is a digital version of a very good board game set in the 40k universe. And that is free to play from now on. Like they've changed it from a premium app to free to play, so you can get that on PC or on mobile. That's free to play now. There's other things that are being added to that in the future that it sounds like you might have to pay for going forward, but they haven't made that clear. But it's a good version of a good board game, a highly rated board game. And so you can pick that up for free as well. You can add it to your Steam library or just pick it up on mobile as well. So that's worth picking up. And that will go beyond this week. So even if you're not listening to the live show, that is something that you can pick up this week as well, basically.
What a
I've got a feeling, Tim, we've
savings.
still got some work to do with setting your expectations of what the Steam Deck can do compared to a
Yeah.
full-fledged desktop PC.
Yes. And
was
to
gonna
be fair,
suggest we
Speed
all play-
Freaks... Sorry, go on.
I was going to suggest we all play Space Marines 2 and then realise that Tim's on a Steam Deck.
Well, it depends. If it's rated for Apple, then I can play that as well, possibly on my Mac rather than on.
You
The Steam
can't
Deck.
play games on a Mac. Stop pretending.
But yeah, I
Not
wanted to test out
Minecraft.
Speed Freaks, and because I was looking at it, it looked like fun, and yeah,
Mm.
I always liked the kind of orc vehicles and stuff, the models and stuff when I was growing up. They were always appealing. Although game wise, I kind of really like the kind of Space Hulk and Space Crusade type games, even though they're not exactly highly rated in the 40k universe. I was a bit disappointed that even though they were on sale this week, none of them are even playable on the Steam Deck. Unfortunately, they are unsupported. So that was a bit of a shame because I think they're the games that would be most suited to the Steam Deck as well. But hey,
Well, sometimes it's kind of, you take a gamble and you see what does it. I mean, this racer isn't supported for Steam Deck technically, but
no, yeah, but it
works,
did
sort
work
of.
and I had fun with it.
all right, should we get on with the news?
Maybe
Mhm,
Broach should get on with these because we've got naff all else to talk about and what we've done.
Well, we will preface that we're not talking about Sony's State of Play because at the point where we're recording, it's not happened yet. Nor are we
Yes.
talking about the Silent Hill transmission because same reason. There was some Sony news that I've had to cut out because it might be revealed in the Sony State of Play, and I didn't want us to
Very good.
speculate on things that then happen
Yeah.
as soon as we finished recording. So first off, news that rocked the internet for probably half an hour and then
What?
we forgot. Atari. Not sure
Right.
which version of Atari because there's like
Okay.
3 different companies of Atari now.
right.
But Atari have acquired the Intellivision brand.
Acquired.
Now, what does that mean?
Our commiserations.
Something that would have been groundbreaking centuries ago.
I mean, I'm not being funny. Is this just Atari finally getting to thumb their nose at Intellivision for the console war of the late 70s? It's going, we own you now.
Yeah, I think it's more a case of they want to do merchandise with the branding on it. I think they want to put out video game packs of the old catalog. The thing that a lot of people thought this was about, which had nothing to do with this, was the Amico.
But that looks like it's going to be the best console ever. Please don't crush my hopes and dreams, Coleman.
Stop pretending you're actually excited about this when you were actually excited about this, Dan. I've got it it's in recordings.
Right.
We've got it somewhere. We were excited about the Amico at one point.
I think it was
years ago.
I think it looked like a good idea. I think it's a shame that it didn't work out. I think it could have done, but
that was probably like sometime in like 2018 where I got all nostalgic when they were announcing they were going to relaunch the Intellivision. I was like, this sounds like some good times back from good old quality days, and that it was going to be a fairly cheap entry-level console. I just thought it might be quite nice. But yeah, it does look like butts, not going to lie.
So the rest of the Intellivision Entertainment LLC will now rebrand into something completely different that includes the Amico. So the Amico Intellivision will be probably just called the Amico, I'm assuming. I can't remember if Tommy Tallarico's still in charge over there or if he's asked off somewhere. But there's been lofty expectations given and nothing has ever come of it. I've been sent a couple of demos here and there to say, this is what a game will be like on the Intellivision with your mouse. And then you play it and go, yes, fine, I guess. It's not the Earthworm Jim you promised. Yeah. Interesting times. Sony, they've had a few bits of news. Like I said, I had to cut some of it out. But one of the more interesting ones was early last week.
Early next week.
What
do you mean you can't talk about the state of play? Clearly, you've got a time machine, Coleman. Stop with your lies.
This week?
I need a TARDIS
You mean this
noise.
week when you said next week and then last week?
What?
Early last week, I thought
Was
it
it
was.
last week?
There was an interview published by Sony Blog, which was with Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann. And
Or was it?
made some waves. Or was it? It was AI! There were some interesting things that were said that caused some waves, much like praising the idea of using AI, although being cautious of the dangers. And that the game that Naughty Dog are working on will be revolutionary to the gaming landscape. And then after some feedback,
that's a misquote as well, but yeah.
Yeah, Neil Druckmann had to come out and say, "Hey, I might have been taken out of context there." And he was kind of, it was a bit of an iffy move because Naughty Dog are owned by owned by Sony, their first party studio, and having the CEO jump out and kind of give him a bit of back chat might not go down well. But he was very careful to say it was my rambling interview that was probably misquoted. They've tried to edit it down, and it was more so he was praising how the Last of Us TV show it showed non-video game players about how narrative can work in video games, even though it's expanded in a TV show or shrunk down, whichever way you want to look at it. And it wasn't really AI is the future or any of the other stuff that a lot of people got annoyed with. So PlayStation.
In other news, Sony's just really heavily invested in AI. I'm sure these two things are a coincidence.
But no, it's a bit weird because Neil Druckmann did put out an excerpt of like his transcription of exactly what he said, and it was more like Coleman was saying there. But it kind of hinted at the fact that it wasn't what he was quoted as at all. It was a complete kind of, it wasn't even taken out of context. It wasn't what he said. Like, it was a completely different thing that he said. And it's a bad look, I think, for Sony to be interviewing one of their own developers and having to retract the entire article because it misquoted someone so badly. Like, that is not a good look, basically. And it does kind of make you question what the accuracy is of other articles on the Sony blog as well, which, it's a weird thing because it's like, self journalism, like interviewing themselves kind of thing. It's an odd thing anyway when they're doing that. Like, it kind of brings into question if they should be doing that at all, really. No?
I think the answer is no in that case, unless you're calling it an advertisement.
It's like when official Nintendo magazine would give like really high marks to terrible Nintendo games because they're Nintendo games. This kind of reminded
so
me.
cynical, guys. How did this happen? Huh?
It kind of reminded me. I know it's a little bit different, but do you remember when they were doing the Death Stranding? Oh no, was it Death Stranding or Ghost of Tsushima? One of them had a director's cut. And the game director went,
I think. No.
They both had, that was it. So yes, I think Hideo Kojima, I think they did it for Death Stranding first, and Hideo Kojima basically went, this isn't a director's cut. This isn't the first version was my cut.
Oh.
So yeah, kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Yeah, but they've deleted the interview now and put up
so
a retraction
glad.
and
That's
said,
the kind
sorry.
of journalistic integrity I like to see. Delete it and it's like nothing ever happens.
But
Well,
I think
they put up a retraction to say that it was misquoted and his views on AI and storytelling and all these kind of, like, they do mention the things. I think it should have said views on AI and left it at that, but they kind of had to bury it as the third or fourth topic that they've had to bury it into.
But but I think that speaks to how badly it was misquoting him. The fact that it wasn't really correctable. It was like it had to be entirely removed from existence, basically, or the internet at least. But yeah, that's weird. I don't know. As I said, it brings a lot more into question than just that interview, I think, which is not a good look for Sony, basically.
Can I just point out my inability to tell time has been mentioned. It says that I must have a time machine as I never age since I've shaved my head.
That is true.
And dye my beard. Internet Archive remembers it all.
Yes.
Almost.
Ish.
You can never hide from the Internet Archive.
You never steal an archive.
Never delete a misleading article.
No one expects the Internet Archive.
No one expects anything more than short-term memory.
You wouldn't misquote Neil Druckmann. I can't find the volume.
We noticed.
Yes.
I mean, could I interest her in the stop button? Maybe. That might be another alternative that you could look at.
You wouldn't AI a video game. All right, that's enough of that.
Given half a chance you bloody would, Coleman's go, I made them say Willy. Or something like that is pretty much.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
No, I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. And now, what I'm with isn't it anymore. And what's it seems weird and scary. It'll happen to you.
That's what you sound like, Dan.
I don't
quite
sound like that.
You said that about moving your lips.
Sound quite. That makes me sound. So usually I get accused of sounding like Jeremy Clarkson, whereas that makes me sound like David Cameron, and that really upsets me. Please stop it, Master. Yeah, exactly.
Cameron Clarkson.
Exactly like David Cameron.
I like the clips. I like the non-AI clips are more embarrassing than the AI clips.
Yeah.
My name's Daniel.
Oh, yeah, joy.
Eating my dust.
There is yet more news, Coleman. Lay it on me, sir.
Oh, sorry. One more. Yes. So in what seems to be the trend this year of video game companies absolutely destroying modders and cheaters, Activision, they have been caught against a cheat creator for Call of Duty. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's kind of an indie title, a little bit below the radar. But yes, this cheat company, they're called, I can't find it now. They're called Engine Owning. And they've been creating cheats, and they have gone to court, and they've won a little bit of money, just over $14 million in damages. And Activision have also claimed the domain name engineowning.2. Which now redirects to Activision.
Yeah, it's a sack of cash, and we own your name now.
Wow.
That's it. At least with Nintendo and Yuzu, they let them keep the domain so they could put up hey, we're not allowed to do this anymore.
Which I kind of think is more of a slow burn shame. Shame.
I like that. Yeah, there was I think it was a lot of torrent sites and stuff when they started getting all knocked down close to 20 years ago now. But a lot of those, when they were going down, it was like notices saying, "Hey, here's the official notice from the courts that say we're not allowed to do this anymore."
Also, we now drink Shigeru Miyamoto's wee wee. What we have to do.
Okay.
They can make them by law just say random things just to embarrass them even further. It'd be great.
Very into your eating and drinking of.
Well, it's been one of those shows. What can I
Yeah.
say? I'm regressing. But there's been quite a lot of this, as you said, about these kind of cheat companies getting sued. I think Bungie recently has had quite a few successful lawsuits against kind of manufacturers of cheating apps. So, yeah, I mean, it's
never prosper.
Cheats
Especially
never
when
prosper.
They get
Or
sued
profit.
for 14.
Cheat creators never. Well, yeah, cheat
Well, they did prosper
creators prosper
for a short
for a
amount of
bit,
time.
and then they get
Yeah.
sued. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's interesting because I can understand it's obviously a lot more cut and dry in the case of Nintendo, where it's like, look, you're infringing on our IP. Thank you very much. You know, can you please not make an avatar of Mario do those things? Please, we'd rather you didn't. Whereas this actually is kind of, it's more about, I think it's interesting because it's more about, you know, stopping people misusing the games that have been published. And I think it's, as we move more towards a kind of a live service model of games being the thing, you know, it's interesting to see that companies are being so successful in really, really sticking it to the kind of people who engineer cheats. I think it's quite an interesting thing. I think it's very different to IP infringement.
Yeah, but right, the IP infringement and the sort of, especially when it comes to cataloging old games and giving people access to that, I think that's something that some gamers don't necessarily agree with. I don't think there's many people that wouldn't agree that stopping cheating happening in online games is a good thing for gaming. Like, there may be some people that are like, "Oh, I like to cheat, and what's wrong with it?" Blah blah blah. But the majority of people will agree.
I like to cheat.
Yeah, but cheating spoils the game, and that harms gaming communities. And as a whole, most people would be happy with this being something that is, removed from gaming. Basically, I don't think that's.
Wasn't there a game where if it discovered you cheated, it didn't kick you out the game? It just made you force your matchmaking to be only with other cheaters.
Yes, I think that's very clever.
That's a lot of online games. There was one. There was one I remember that was like a sin bin for GTA Online, but all the people were kind of speed running to see how long it would take them to get put in the in the special room of just cheaters. But they also loved it because it was just all these people flying around with infinite rocket launchers with gigantic damage on them, just seeing if they can crash it. The Fall Guys one was amazing as well because they're very early in Fall Guys. Like, if you hit the right combination of buttons, then you basically spawn from the start to the exit and win in a second. So you would then watch the cheating servers, but you wouldn't know you got put on a cheating server except for all the cheaters. So it would go 3, 2, 1, and then every single person's at the end. It would kind of randomly pick the winner out of those. So I like that one.
But
I like cheating servers. They're funny.
I think cheating coming out of online games is obviously a good thing. But we've seen cheats removed from video games in total. There used to be a thing back in the day in more retro games where you had a cheat menu and you could open up cheats and actually crack the game a bit and stupid things like big head mode, but also invincibility and other stuff. But they've taken all of those out of video games as well now. You don't tend to have as much of that these days, basically. Unless you pay.
My favorite still is the Serious Sam one, where if you get caught cheating, then it spawns an invincible steel gigantic scorpion with a Gatling gun tail to just infinitely stalk you and kill you every time.
Nice.
That's a good one. Oh, and there was one that I haven't seen firsthand. I've only seen it online, but I think it was the Michael Jackson Experience, the 3DS version of the game, because the R4 cards were becoming so prevalent that you could just steal everything on the DS. If you were playing that game and it detected that it was a pirated copy, every single track would be ruined by the sound of vuvuzelas.
That's quite good.
I think that was inspired by the World Cup.
That would be the 2010 World Cup, yeah. But yeah.
Quite good that.
Yeah, it just reminded me of Game Genies being a thing that used to exist as well.
Back in my day.
All right,
Back in my
Grandad.
day.
Jesus. Back in my day, to cheat, you had to unsole that resistor, replace it with one of half its value, plug it back into game console.
Would you remember that for a while there was I think the PlayStation 2 era, it was not getting the action replay cards or Game Genies or anything. It was the discs that they would give away in magazines. And they would just preload a disc with a bunch of action replay cheats, and you could use them to muck around with different games. And it was one of those on the Dreamcast that was quite famous and valuable because it allowed you to boot a game without going through the necessary checks, so you could just pirate games on the Dreamcast.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fun little conversation about piracy.
Hey, Coleman, you know what you wouldn't do?
Oh, let me tell you, Dan.
You wouldn't
play piracy music on a podcast.
You wouldn't. Have we had a copyright strike for that yet? Because there'd be some delicious irony.
Piracy! Arr. I'll be cheating at Call of Duty. Arr. Duty. Booty. Call of Booty. Oh, no, that is
and we're back to the intro.
That's the thing.
A what steamer?
Toot toot. Anyway, I think we're probably nearly out of news because Tim saying.
I was going to say, I just want to know where Dan has also misused that phrase that he used at the start of the podcast. Quite funny if you'd use that.
I'm going to go back and I'm going to do a little inventory of that for you.
Yeah. Just to sort of add to the news, but not really, and while talking about Sony stuff as well. Did you see I'm assuming it's an investors video that they put together, and it's a bunch of future tech and their properties and stuff. Like
yes, the Sony thing.
Sony
that was
Music
weird.
And Horizon in VR, but AR and like weird controllers with splits in them and stuff. And that just looks so odd. I'm assuming it's an investor video because that.
Yeah, it was. I think it was
very elaborate April Fools.
It was also like the language used in it was such guff that they wouldn't put that out to the public either. Like it was absolute like marketing gobbledygook. Like it was just almost painful to hear and watch. But yeah,
it reminds me of the old SG days, and I can't remember if it was an Apple promo thing, but they were doing a proof of concept video, and it was reading this virtual newspaper, products that won't exist because they're just like the idea of a stick that you put down and it beams the pages out. And then on Sarcastic Gamer they were doing the voiceover, like the fake adverts that we do. Just kind of reminded me of that really silly stuff.
Yes. Talking silly things, so if we are done with the news, you know what you should do?
I think we are done with the news, he says as he looks for voice clips of Dan.
Yes. But you know what you should do, talking silly things? You should buy things with my face on it. That's right. tpublic.com/store/BRB, the premier place to go and buy things with my face on it. You want my face on things? Go to tpublic.com/store/BRB. There are plenty of other products there as well, but the best ones have my face on it. Tim, update. Are there things with other people's faces on them?
Not yet. I have had a very busy week at work. Hopefully next week.
Get your priorities straight. Bad Tim. Bad naughty Tim. Coleman, do you want things with your face on it that people can buy?
No, I just want things with Dan's face, not my face. Never use my face. My face is copyrighted. I will take you to court and I will get over $14 million in damages for
cheating with your face.
For going against the Digital Millennium Copyright Act or the DMCA.
You wouldn't steal Dan's face.
I'm using your face and there's nothing you can do to stop me. But Coleman, I actually think you're going to be pleased with the design. So I think
there's a design already.
Think you don't want to be too
Me and Elvis the solicitor, we need final approval of any designs.
I forgot your solicitor was an Elvis impersonator. Okay, now I want you to sue me just because it will be worth it to see your solicitor in court.
Yep. So, tpublic.com/stores/BRB.
Yeah, by
Yes.
Dan's face. And other things are available, but also Dan's
Eating
face.
my dust.
Dan's
Tim.
face.
Tuesday is
Yes.
a Tuesday. Tell us all about Tuesday. What's happening this
Tuesday-
Tuesday on Tuesday, Tim?
Is indeed a Tuesday. And quickly before I mention this week's game, I'll do the intro actually, because anyone that doesn't know, each and every Tuesday we do an event called Tabletop Tuesday at the Loading Bar
confused.
in Stoke, Newington. Each Tuesday, or most Tuesdays, you can play the feature game
Most of
and
them.
possibly win a copy just by playing it. A lucky winner
Not on the
last week
Tuesdays, they're
managed
called
to
Wednesday.
win an exclusive copy of a game called Kugo, which
Kugo!
isn't available to buy anywhere, but you can currently back it on Kickstarter. It fully funded
Wow.
in its first day. It's nearly doubled its funding and still has a few weeks to go. You can see
Sold out in
that
30
game
seconds.
at UK Games Expo this week. I will also be there. I may be on their stand for a bit of time, helping them out for a little bit as well. So you might
But
see
the
me
real
at
question
their
is, do
stand.
they want you there on their
Yeah.
stand?
No,
to
get
help
off,
them
you.
out?
Absolutely
Tim's
not.
just going to show up.
Clear off.
Get out of here.
Get out of here, you.
Kugo is a little
Podcaster.
sort of dexterity kit for making dexterity games. It's really cool. It's really well made. It's really nice. And yeah, as I said, its Kickstarter is available now. So search for Kugo. That's Kugo on Kickstarter.
Kugo.
This week's game is a little bit different. It's a game called Arco-Logic. And it's
Logic.
it's a kind of puzzle game about
It's a
like there's
kind of
a
puzzle
hidden
game.
kind of mountain city that's been discovered and people aren't
Sure,
sure
just look for
exactly
the
where it
mountain.
is and exactly what buildings it
Shangri-La.
has, and you have to kind of try and solve that mystery basically. Sounds interesting. It's highly rated. I haven't played it yet myself, but it looks cool. And yeah, that should be a good one and make for a good prize for this week's feature game. If you want some more details, there are more details on the top left-hand corner of bigredbarrel.com. Or you can join the over 2,150 plus people in our meetup group. Search for Tabletop Tuesday on meetup.com, or just come along to the Loading Bar in Stoke Newington this Tuesday from 7:30, 8 o'clock, and we do the prize draw about 10:30.
Tabletop Tuesday at the Loading Bar in Stoke Newington. Get there on Tuesday and you can play the featured game of Archaeologic. Hello there. My name's
No, I
Archie.
don't think it's
Archaeologic. I've come
Wow.
to deliver you potatoes. Diddly dee.
I
didn't have an Irish bed.
The leprechaun with the air horn. Actually, that alliterates rather pleasantly.
That's pretty good.
Can
Can we have that on a t-shirt, please, Tim?
Okay.
Leprechaun with the air horn. Archaeologic. Please make that for Tuesday.
Wow.
I'm not sure I can
Hello
make
there.
that in
He
time for
feels like the
Tuesday.
spiritual successor to Tiny Earl.
You can buy,
Leprechaun with the
you
air
can buy
horn.
that t-shirt design on any color as long as it's green.
There you go. Banging. If you've enjoyed this show, you are a weirdo, but we love you all the same. Did you know that we have a website? It's called bigredbarrel.com.
Where?
Over there we keep the bigredbarrel.com. Over there we keep the things like podcasts and articles and videos and things.
But
Not really
mostly
updated
podcasts.
much these days. Mostly podcasts. We also have a link there to our Discord. You can go and chat to us and leave us questions and things, but you can also find us on social media. We have an X, a Threads, and a Facebook at Big Red Barrel. We can be found on YouTube and Twitch. Twitch is Big Red Barrel also, and YouTube is Big Red Barrel TV. But yes, go to our Discord, ask questions, say, I have a question,
I have
then
one.
ask question, then we answer question. What is your question, Dan?
Why?
Why are we still doing this?
Why? No, just why is
Put-
my
put
question.
us out of our
Why?
misery.
Why?
Why?
Kill me.
Are we at 600 yet?
No, not yet. Sweet embrace of death at 6:01, Dan. In
Don't
Minecraft.
threaten me with a good time. Speaking of podcasts, though, Kev and I are planning on recording another episode of VRB on Monday, so we should have some chat
Has he been warned yet?
on
So
the other
it'll be out by
side.
the
Yes,
following
on the
Mon-
other side
Monday.
of Sony's State of Play this evening. We were expecting some VR news there, as they have said that will be the case. And there's also some other interesting VR stuff to talk about. And we have some new games to talk about as well. So come along sometime next week. There should be an episode for that, basically.
Is
Very good.
Kev doing that one on his own?
Hopefully, maybe. I don't know.
Because what are you going to be talking about?
My name is Tim Hibbs. Hello. And I have decided that after making the investment in PlayStation VR 2, that actually VR's pretty rubbish, really. I don't like
True
VR.
words.
I actually hate VR. My name's Tim
VR.
Hibbs. This is how I talk. I hate VR.
Yeah.
So why are you going to do a VRB podcast? You don't do
I
VR
don't
anymore.
know. I'm a glutton for punishment, Coleman. That's why. That's why I'm here.
Good.
Right. I think
Should we go?
we've probably
Did we hit 7 o'clock yet?
Dead horse. Quite
Almost.
enough.
Let's go.
So we're going to go.
Ooh,
We are
short
going to go.
episode today.
Thank you for listening to us, coming along if you're here for the live show. And just generally coming back week after week. We do truly appreciate it. And make sure to go to all the places that Coleman said. But we're going to go. It's time for us to tuck ourselves into bed in a little podcasting village in which we live. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, before this goes too much like, no, Jim Bob, I think I am actually going to shut up. I've been Dan. Who have you been, Coleman?
No, Tim goes next.
No,
Yeah, you
I
messed up
don't
the
know
whole
anymore.
thing.
It's been a long day.
I might have been Tim.
I taught Dan something at the start of the show.
He did. It blew my mind.
I'm glad you said mind.
What else could it have been, Tim?
Anus.
Yes, possibly.
Mhm.
Lovely. Right, we're going. Thank you for listening to us. We'll be back next week. And until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarrel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarrel.com.
Basically, one trick is to tell them stories that don't go anywhere. Like the time I caught a ferry over to Shelbyville. I needed a new heel for my shoe. So basically, I decided to go down to Morganville, which is what they used to call Shelbyville in those days. So basically, I tied an onion to my belt, which was the style at the time. Now, to take the ferry cost a nickel. And in those days, basically, nickels had pictures of bumblebees on them. Give me 5 bees for a quarter, you'd basically say. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah, the important thing was I had an onion on my belt, which basically was the style at the time. They didn't have white onions because of the war. The only thing you could get were those big yellow ones. Basically, no.
Cats and consoles. What we do. That's our next podcast.
Yeah.
The cats and consoles. Sounds a bit like warming up for a beatbox, doesn't it?
Once we've hit 600, we shut the podcast down. We rebrand as cats and consoles.
I like it.
Yep.
This is
We all
good.
get them headphones with the little ears on them.